Hello and welcome to this short video from Havant Academy. This video is our guide to the new assessment system that we will be launching in September of 2015. There's been an awful lot in the news recently about the changes that the government have made to schools and education. There are new exams, they've removed coursework from a lot of subjects, and there's a new national curriculum. But perhaps the biggest change is the decision to remove national curriculum levels. Now, there are several reasons why they've taken this decision. Firstly, they've argued that national curriculum levels are confusing for some parents, and they've also argued that they're used inconsistently between schools. So a level 4 in one school is not necessarily a level 4 in another school. They've also argued that national curriculum levels were too general, so they didn't give students and parents enough specific advice on how to improve. So each school now has been told, we've got to find our own way and come up with our own assessment system. So here at Havant Academy, we are absolutely determined to make sure that parents and students are at centre stage of anything we do. So we have come up with a simple system that gives specific feedback and puts progress at the heart of school life. We are delighted to be able to share with you our new assessment system, which is Learning Ladders. Each Learning Ladder is drawn from the national curriculum, any relevant GCSE and vocational qualifications, and best practice that we've developed over years of using national curriculum levels. And by using our Learning Ladders, students, parents and teachers can accurately identify exactly what students know, what they can do, and what they understand in relation to each of their subjects. And what's brilliant about our Learning Ladders is that we're able to track the progression of student learning from year 6 all the way up to year 11. And we're able to identify for students exactly what they need to do in the next step to help them improve and move on in their learning. So let's take a look at an example of one of our Learning Ladders. Now, this is one of the ladders from the English booklet. This is the ladder to do with style and purpose, and you can see that it begins on the left-hand side of the page and then carries on onto the right-hand side of the page. Each rung of the ladder relates to a specific area of understanding or skill in relation to that subject. And you can see that each rung has 3 boxes. And this is because we expect students to achieve each of these aspects 3 times to ensure that they've really understood what it is that they've been working on. And we call this subject mastery, with the aim being that students really master the subject content and curriculum for each subject in each year. And if they can demonstrate that they can do this particular thing 3 times, then we can be fairly confident that they really understand what it is and that they've really learnt it. Now you can see that our ladder begins in year 6, and this is very important because this allows us to assess how much of the primary school curriculum students have mastered before they've even arrived with us. And this means that we can pick up any gaps in their learning as soon as they arrive with us in year 7, and allows us to accelerate the progress that students make. Now this is Tess. She's a year 9 student, and you can see that she's completed all the year 6 curriculum and she's completed all the year 7 curriculum. Now her performance in year 8 meant that she completed some of the curriculum but not all of it. You can see there are a couple of blank boxes where she hadn't quite mastered a particular skill. And she's working through the year 9 curriculum at the moment, and you can see her next steps because these are the boxes that she hasn't yet completed. But what's really important here is it highlights to Tess, her teacher and her parents that there's some aspects of her year 8 work she still hasn't quite mastered and she needs to catch up. And because Tess and her teacher know this, her teacher can support her by putting in place any necessary steps and interventions to help her to catch up. Every 6 weeks or so, the Academy holds a checkpoint. And at this point, teachers will be making overall judgments based on the progress through the ladder booklets and reporting whether they feel the student has made more than expected progress, whether the student is working within expected progress, or whether the student is working towards expected progress. And those judgments are really important because following those judgments, teachers are then able to set specific targets for students that provide the right challenge and support for each individual student. Now, the other great thing about the learning ladders is that they enable everyone involved in the student's education to have a really sound understanding and a really developed conversation about that student's learning. So whether that student is at home or at school, or whether it's at a parents' evening, we can have a really informed dialogue about exactly what the students know, what they can do, and what they understand. And we can give really specific advice on what the student needs to do next in order to further improve. Now at Key Stage 4, we still use the Ladders booklets. And that's because it's still very, very important for students to have a very developed understanding of exactly what they know, what they can do, and what they understand. But it's also very important that students have a clear understanding of what grade they're at, so that students can be challenged and supported in order to achieve the very best grades that they can. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and please do contact us if you have any questions whatsoever in relation to our new assessment system.